I don't have any other news. Shall we jump into the draft lottery? Mock draft.
Well, let's get it.
All right. So we've been doing these since the channel started, or since the podcasts started. You obviously have, first off here, you have the drafts from last year that the NBP did. We had one that we did a while ago. We had like Cole Iserman going to flipping Minnesota, all this from last year. We did a big one the year before. And then we obviously did our main draft stream. We've done 2 this year, but they live in top 10. Now we are expanding from that to the essential top 21, which also means that LeBlanc just had his team in there. So anyways, let's just hop right in. I'm looking forward to this. 21 picks. Let's get it going here. So LeBlanc, would you like to go first overall?
I'll go first since you have the Flyers pick at 6. And
Okay.
you and man pick at 4. Let's just get it going with Matthew Schaefer first overall.
Okay, so from what is he from? Erie? Or no, not Erie. He's from Erie? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Erie.
Okay.
Schaefer, left-handed. He's left-handed defenseman. Yeah, left-handed defenseman. From the Erie Otters. For me personally, I'm not as high on Schaefer as others are, but you want to talk about a guy who's a great puck mover, silky smooth skater, can really use his hands effectively. Offensive IQ's off the charts. He's definitely worthy of the first overall pick. I think if the Otters don't go Schaefer, I feel like they're going to go Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, we already said that earlier. Definitely what we're considering.
You look at the World Juniors where when Team Canada had Schaefer on their team, they looked so much better. Without Schaefer, that team fell apart.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with that 100%. Schaefer, ironically enough, was the pick that went in our draft that we did back in December. And here he is going first overall once again to the New York Islanders. Now, second overall, this is where things get a little bit interesting for me because I would think, and I think I know the overall direction that San Jose would go with this pick, even though it's not a number 1 need. If he's there, you can't pass him up. You got to go with Michael Misa at second overall. From the Saginaw Spirit. Misa's been unbelievable in his draft year, was born on the same day as me. That is a flex that that is a flex that Misa has over everybody else. He was born on the same day as me. But yeah, very good, very solid forward. I think is the number 1 forward in this draft. I don't even really think it's that close if I'm being blunt with you. Like, I just think that Misa is just that much better. Had 134 points in 65 games played in the OHL, is just a phenomenal player.
We've been talking about Matthew Schaefer for the past 3 years almost because he got exceptional status to the OHL, got drafted by Saginaw, was very highly anticipated first overall pick in that draft. And, first year he lit it up. Last year he had a bit of a down year. This year he's just scorching hot. Like, lit it up. I believe he had like 111 points. Let me just double check that.
135.
135, excuse me. Yeah,
134. Well,
I was thinking 25. I didn't want to overshoot it, but yeah. 134, 62 goal. He's almost goal per game in the OHL. Like, Misa's the real deal. And I think Misa's the best player in this draft.
Yeah, I do. But is he like the number 1 preference need in this draft? Is the biggest question. That's why the Islanders might go with Schaefer there. What would be really insane is if, if they get Misa, that forward core
is set.
Is insane. It is actually insane. Now, I do want to ask this question, and this really isn't related to the overall placement of like a player, but do you think San Jose, could you see the Sharks trading that second overall pick to maybe drop down and get a defenseman?
It has to be a lot for them to trade back.
I would think so.
But I think you're content with taking Misa.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that as well. Now, third overall to the Chicago Blackhawks.
I'm going to go with Anton Frundell.
Okay. Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit hard for me after that.
Because
So Anton Frundell from.
they could go Mark. I don't think they go Higgins here. I feel like they already have so many players like James Higgins that they don't need multiple players of the same archetype.
Yeah,
we could go Martone here. Martone would definitely be a fit in Chicago, but I think like Frundell just lighting it up in Jew Gardens.
Yeah, Frundell is going to be nasty when he gets to that point. So
I'm pretty sure he is 6'2". He's a bigger boy. So yeah, let me see if I can just get this up here real quick. Yeah, he's 6 foot, and he's good. I assume he's gonna grow a little bit more by the time shoots left. He's a two-way center and a dangler. So
had 25 points in 29 games played with Jew Gardens, which is very good for
the Swiss league, for the Swedish league. Sorry.
Yeah, very low scoring over there. So seeing a guy go nearly point per game, he is the real deal as well. He is going to be very exciting.
I feel Anton Frundell should be in a top 5 range. If he drops down below top 5, means something happened. Another player, and I know I clowned on. We were off camera talking about this last night. There's been rumors about Jake O'Brien rising. I don't think he goes this high, but I don't. For some reason, I see it. I can see Jake O'Brien maybe going here because I don't trust Chicago's management.
That's not a huge impossibility. So we'll keep that on the back burner because you got a lot of things right last year with that. I remember when you even said you're like, I think Anaheim might pick Beckett Seneca, and look at what happened.
Yeah, I did say that. I keep forgetting for like my draft takes. They usually age pretty well, except for my team.
Yeah, except for your team. You got everything else right except for your own team. So that's a little bit funny. Now, Utah next up here at 4th overall. As a Utah fan, former Coyotes fan, I look at our overall team. What is our needs? What's our number one need here for this Utah roster? And the biggest thing that I go and take a look at is our center depth. Again, there's a lot of centers in this draft. We got our number one guy, Logan Cooley. Nick Schmaltz has been moving to the wing recently. Your second line center then is Barrett Hayton, and I'm sorry, Hayton is just not that good enough to be a second line center, which is why, for that very reason, Utah will take James Higgins at 4th overall in this draft if he is there. I think basically no matter what Utah could do, I think you have to pick a center. Like their center depth, they have very good wings along the right side. They have a very good top 6, but above all, I think they need just a number one, number 2 center. I don't know if Higgins would be over Cooley, but I think if you could put him in there, I wouldn't be against it. So James Higgins there at 4th overall is who I want there for Utah.
All right. I think that's a perfect fit, honestly. James Higgins to Utah. It creates a 1-2 punch of Cooley and Higgins, which I think will be a very good down the line.
I'm trying to think, I'm forgetting about I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting about a center prospect that Utah has. I'm thinking about Boot. I'm thinking about Simashev. I don't know if we have anybody else really coming up in the pipeline that's necessarily going to be a very good player. So
yeah, Higgins would be your best prospect by far.
Oh yeah, 100%. So that definitely nails that out. But I'm just trying to think is there anybody else in that pool? There's a Ginla who is a center. I forgot about him. That's pretty much it, to be honest. It's a Ginla. I don't know, maybe they do stray away from that a little bit, seeing that a Ginla is a center, but I don't know. Looking at it right now, I would go with Higgins, in my opinion. Maybe they go defense here. Maybe they get someone honestly, maybe a guy like Jackson Smith rises up to that point, or I don't know, some other defenseman who is up there. But yeah.
Nashville's hard. I'm going to tell you why. Because they need, and I don't know if this is very enough, they need, for younger players, they need everything.
Mostly, yes.
So for the longest time, I had in our old mock draft, I had defense going to Nashville. I think in my multiple draft, my personal mock drafts, I had them going defense all the way. But now that we're here, I don't think there's a defenseman that's good enough to go 5th overall.
Yeah, I'm looking at our drafts. We've had a defenseman going to Nashville at both of our picks. So yes, that's been our narrative for a little bit here, and I actually think you made both those picks.
I'm gonna switch up the narrative, and I'm gonna take Caleb Denoyer here.
Ooh, okay, all right, Denoyer from Moncton.
Denoyer is a little bit of a smaller center.
Yeah,
I'm going to just double check. I was going to double check your work, kids.
He's 6'2", 172 pounds. Had 84 points in 56 games played. with Moncton this past year.
So I would say hockey IQ's off the charts. We have Caleb Denoyer, sees the ice very well. His vision's very good. Two-way play. He's great on the back end. Great defending pickoffs, blocking shots. Very good. Playmaking's off the charts as well. I love how he can distribute the puck and get his teammates set up for great chances. He needs to work on his physicality, his shooting, and his skating.
He's a very good puck mover. I've noticed that with him. He moves the puck very well. I think definitely his skating needs to be worked on there. I agree. But overall, he's going to be a very good and very talented player there at 5th overall heading to Nashville. Now, 6th overall with Philadelphia for me. I think like we need a center. That's our number one issue. And LeBlanc, you mentioned him a little bit ago, and I'm going to go with him right here, right now. I don't know a ton about him, but give me Jake O'Brien at 6th overall here to the Philadelphia Flyers. O'Brien had 98 points in 66 games played with the Bulldogs, alongside a guy like Nick Lardis, who played unreal there. He's a Chicago prospect. That's somebody that I'm really interested in. And again, like maybe if the picks are a different way, like maybe I'm picking somebody else there at 6th overall to go to the Flyers, but at least for me right now, like you need a center, and the defenseman pool is not that good enough to pick somebody like that at 6th overall. So I'm going with Jake O'Brien at 6th overall.
Jake O'Brien, you want to talk about hockey IQ? This kid's hockey IQ is actually off the chart. Like him and compared to Denoyer, his hockey IQ is probably the best in the draft. I'm not gonna lie.
100%.
Very, very good passer. He's a power play specialist. He's a pass-first player, but his shot is wicked. So he's a playmaker at first, but he can shoot the puck. He had over 30 goals this year. The one thing I do notice is that he tries to do too much with the puck, so he leads to turnovers, which a lot of young players do, try and do too much. His skating is a little bit suspect. He takes really short strides, which that's fixable with coaching, and then he just needs to work on his strength. That's really about it. I've seen too many times him come into the zone this year and just get absolutely clobbered with the puck. So if he can get his strength up and fix his skating, and I think he can be a very, very good player in this draft.
Definitely. He's somebody in my eyes that I think is still a little bit a ways away from like making a full-time commitment in the NHL. Trying to find something out here. Is he related to Jay O'Brien?
I don't believe so.
Okay, good. Because if he's related to Jay O'Brien, then I'm not so sure we'll take him then, because Jay O'Brien was also a former Flyer prospect, and he did not turn out to be that good. So I will say that. But it's not popping up on my feed right now, his like elite prospect page. So I don't know. But yeah, O'Brien there at 6. It just makes a ton of sense to me. And then number 7 to Boston.
Ooh. I think he has to go here. Give me Porter Martone.
It's not a center, but I think like if he's there at 7th overall, you got to take him.
Yeah. Martone, I think I've said this to you multiple times. I think Martone is the guy we could see probably fall in the draft.
Yeah. For sure.
He's
like in our previous draft, we had him going 4th overall. We had him going 3rd overall. Now we have him going 7th. So it seems like a lot of people are not that high on Martone at this point.
Martone's an archetype where like it might not translate. That's the issue with Martone. He's hit or miss. Like look at his strength, hands for days. Dude can dangle. Dude has great stick handling. He's great playmaking. And once again, really high hockey IQ here. One thing he does, and I've seen it firsthand live, he forces plays.
He does. He likes to force plays.
Force the play. Defensive support, he's not really good on the back check. And then his pace and his skating need work. But Martone's also a physical beast. Like, I don't want to say he's compared to Brady Tkachuk, but he's like, he's either going to be Brady Tkachuk or he's going to be Pat Maroon. Like, there's no in between.
He's like a Brady Tkachuk archetype in a way.
He's an archetype, but he's not as big though. So
yeah, for sure, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. Martone, I think honestly, his his like ceiling on me in terms of like where he could get drafted ranges from like third overall to 10th overall, to be honest with you. I've seen him be ranked lower though, actually. So
Really?
I don't know. And then 8th overall, you got Seattle. LeBlanc, do you want to just say your little catchphrase here?
Draft a defenseman!
Yeah, we're going to go with Jackson Smith there at 8th overall. Smith from the Tri-City Americans. There's a couple options you could go with there too, like Malcolm Spence, who just committed to Michigan. You could go with him there as well. But Smith, more of a defensive type guy, correct? He's a guy who definitely...
He's more of an offensive defenseman.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of somebody else then.
I think you're thinking of Radim Murka.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking of Murka. But he's definitely somebody who makes that defensive pool 40 times better immediately.
Yeah, the scouts are pretty split on Smith because, like, he has great offensive ability, great stick handling with the puck. His defense needs work. That's the only really big issue about Smith is that he's going to get you points, but he needs to play defense.
Yeah, he's more of like an offensive type of player. I don't want to put this in a light, but he's a little bit like Lane Hudson in a way.
Yeah, I was going to say, but like Smith's 6 feet. Smith's 6'1", I'm pretty sure.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
No, sorry, he's 6'3". Excuse me.
Yeah, he's a little bit taller than Hudson, but he does have that little bit like of a offensive-minded feel to him and a lack of defense. So I don't know. That seems like the type of player that Seattle would pick there at 8th overall in terms of a defenseman. So
no. They need a defenseman. Like if it's not a defenseman, I don't know how. I don't understand how you go 5 years in the league and no defenseman.
Yeah, you don't draft a defenseman one of your top picks. It's insane. It's actually wild if we're being honest. Now Buffalo, what are you thinking?
I got a couple ideas in my head.
Okay.
I'm thinking Buffalo, they drafted Constant Helenius last year. Smaller guy. They drafted Zach Benson the year before. Smaller guy. So I'm thinking right here, Buffalo needs a forward help. They also need left shot defensemen.
Okay.
So I'll be honest, right here I got 2 guys on my mind. But I'm going to go with the guy who I think has more upside, and that's Roger McQueen.
Ooh, I forgot about Mr. Roger McQueen. Okay.
Great size. The only thing about McQueen is that he has injury history, which some teams don't care about. Some teams do care about. But I feel like the risk is there with McQueen. McQueen has the ability to be just an all-star player.
Yeah, he has like the fragments to become an incredibly talented player. So, yeah, I like that pick. I think that pick is really going to turn out good if Buffalo ends up getting him there at 9th overall. So I don't really hate that. I'm not going to lie to you.
I just gotta look. I have his analysis in my phone. Give me even 1 second.
Yeah, I like McQueen. Big fan of him.
Yeah, so he's a big, heavy, bruising power forward. Heavy hitter, great compete level, good shot. His skating needs some work, but other than that, I feel like he's going to go lower than expected, but I feel like he could have been a top 5 pick.
He could have been, yes. Just, I think the top 5 is pretty much set. So, yeah, definitely. I like that pick there. Now, 10th overall to the Anaheim Ducks. Let me ask you this question. What do you think is Anaheim's number 1 need?
Defense.
I would say defense as well. Now, what do you think about like a defensive type defenseman?
Yeah, they could use one of those.
Which is why we're going to go with, from the Seattle Thunderbirds this past year, Radim Murka at 10th overall. So, yeah, I don't know a ton about Murka, but just watching some of the prospect previews that I've been seeing on YouTube, Murka just looks like a player who is very defensive-minded. He didn't even score a lot of points in the WHL, had 35 points in 43 games played, is a very, very defensive defenseman, and I think that is something that Anaheim could really use there as a guy that could make huge saves or make huge defensive plays for you on a team where they have a lot of good, like, big-name offensive guys, But you see a lot of the Cup teams, what really glues them together is a lockdown, shutdown defender on the back end. You can't win without that. And that's why if they get Merca there at 10th overall, it's a steal. It's a steal.
I'm gonna argue your point about Merca. I think Merca's more of a two-way defenseman, but he is very, very shutdown oriented.
Okay, yes. I feel like he's way more the plays that I see, I think he's way more defensive minded.
But yeah, he's a very good defenseman. I honestly am I would have gone with Merca at 8 personally. But it still is a great. But my thing about Anaheim is that Anaheim always the guy you think they're going to take. Nah, we ain't taking him.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then the same thing. Well, the same thing can be said about Seattle too. So I don't know. It wouldn't shock me though here if Anaheim decides to go with Victor Eklund. It wouldn't shock me. I thought about him, but then I'm like, I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. I got a really good pick for Anaheim. I'm not going to question it. For Pittsburgh, I got a player who you're going to hate him when he's a Penguin. You're going to hate him when he's a Penguin. Give me Brady Martin.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know a lot about Martin, so elaborate.
Brady Martin is a Swiss Army knife in a little package. So, I want to ask you this: where Kyle Dubas? Where did he get his start?
Where did he get his start? Like of his managerial career?
As a manager.
Well, I immediately think Toronto.
Well, he was hired from the Sioux Greyhounds.
Yeah, I that's what I thought you meant. I was gonna be like, you mean from junior?
Yeah, he still has ties to the Sioux, and Brady Martin here is great. Like you talk about Brady Martin. He is only I think he's only 5'11", 6 feet tall. Yeah, he is. He has the best compete in the draft. It's not even close.
He does. He works hard.
He runs around. He's going to hit you. Like there's a clip of him hitting Radim Merca. Radim Merca is 6'5", 230, and Radim Merca falls like I said, sack of potatoes. He's probably the best hitter in the draft as well. He's got a wicked shot. Dude's got a wicked shot. The one thing I will say, at the NHL level, his offensive upside might not be there. He's definitely a middle sixer at the NHL level. I don't see him as a top line forward. Got to work on the giveaways. Got to work on his passing. He has some good passing plays, but a lot of them he needs to set up his teammates a lot better.
For sure. Yeah, definitely somebody. Yeah, he needs to improve on that.
And I said it before with who did I say this with? I said it with with Martone, but Martin is more of a little is more of like the third Kachuk, I would say.
Yeah, he does feel like
if the Kachucks didn't grow.
Yeah, he does feel like a little bit like
he's gonna make it hard for you to play against, and I think this is a player that the Rangers may have really wanted.
Yes. Yeah, he's going to be somebody.
Everything that Brady Martin that I've said about Brady Martin, that's the player the Rangers really need.
For sure. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Now, that being said, let's look at the Rangers here at 12th overall. The Rangers, I think if he's here, I feel like you kind of have to take him. Victor Eklund.
You took my next pick. I don't like that.
You got to take Victor Eklund if he's there at 12. I am a massive fan of Eklund. He's one of my favorite prospects. It just sucks because there's a lot of other consideration for these other prospects that Eklund has dropped down here in our rankings. Like I think in our last one, he was like 6th overall, and the one before that, he was actually not even in our top 10 if I can't read. He was 5th overall. So he's been 5th and 6th overall the last couple of years or last couple of drafts we've done, but now he's dropping a little bit. What do you think that is?
Size, maybe. I'm not sure why he's dropping because I really do like watching him play. I don't know a whole lot about Victor Eklund. I haven't really studied up on him that much. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I get that.
I know he plays on a line with Frundell.
For sure. Yeah, he definitely is alongside Lundell, so that's kind of chemistry there that you can, factor in, obviously, and yeah, I like that for sure. Yeah. All right. Now you got Detroit at 13 overall. This is Cadence's lucky number, my girlfriend, who's a Red Wings fan. LeBlanc, who are you taking here at 13?
It's so hard now because you took Eklund from me. That was like the best. It was like that's my most Detroit pick ever. Detroit needs left side D.
Okay.
I don't usually like to draft by need, but like this also might be the best player on the board right now. And I know I talked to you about him yesterday, and you gave me the cold shoulder. Give me Kayshawn Aitchison.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know a lot about him. I'm going to be honest with you.
He's mean.
So, what's that?
He's mean.
He's a meanie. Okay, great. Add another mean ass big defenseman to Detroit's pool. So describe him a little bit for me. 6'1".
Aitchison is more of your defensive archetype of defenseman, but he's a big bruiser on the back end. I'm gonna get up the notes I wrote on him right now.
So he's more of a defensive type defender, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So that's kind of what Detroit needs. You look at how they were this year; their defense was terrible. They get a guy like Aitchison who might not be ready right away. That's a good fit.
Here we go. I'm got him right where the notes I wrote on him. So he's a physical two-way mobile defenseman.
Right.
So he's going to go up in the play, but he's also going to be very responsible on his back end. He's a heavy hitter. He reminds me. I don't want to make. He reminds me a lot of like a better version when he was in Minnesota when he first came out of the draft of Matt Dumba.
Oh.
Not Matt Dumba now. Not Matt Dumba now. A young Matt Dumba who could score.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Like I'm reading his stats right now. Aitchison for Barrie this year, 26 goals, 33 assists for 59 points in 64 games.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
88 penalty minutes.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's going to be a guy who racks up a lot of
the type of defenseman, the type of player Detroit needs. I'm going to say this right now. I don't think he's going to be available here, though.
You think he's going higher?
I feel like Smith is going to drop, and I think Aitchison and Merck are going to be the top two defensemen in this draft.
Besides Schaefer. Okay.
Besides Schaefer, yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see if you're right with that. Let's put that down in the notebook of LeBlanc's takes that age well. Next up then for me, I got Columbus. Columbus, I kind of get to this point, I don't really know what exactly to go from here. LeBlanc, what would you say is a need for the Blue Jackets right now?
Goaltending.
Yeah, I low-key feel no, I'm not going a goalie. Don't even try and put that evil on me. I know there is a goalie who actually could go in the first round that looks actually somewhat decent, but I'm not going there. I'm actually leaning towards just a winger, honestly, in my opinion. And, they love to pick their guys from Michigan. Malcolm Spence.
Okay.
They love to pick their guys from Michigan. They got a couple of guys from Michigan State.
And Tilly Johnson.
Yeah. Yep, they love to pick their guys from Michigan. So it wouldn't surprise me if they go with Malcolm Spence here, who is currently with Erie as well. He was a really highly touted guy there as well at one point. I think we even had him in one of our drafts previously. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not, but definitely.
But he was up there for. He's fallen a bit this year, but yeah, he was up there at the start of the year.
Yeah, he was around I saw him high as 6 to 12. Now he's dropped a little bit here on our rankings, but I think Spence. They love their Michigan guys from Michigan College. It wouldn't shock me if he goes there at 14.
Okay. Here's the thing. I didn't expect two guys I want to be here for Vancouver. So I'm confused whether to take the guy I really think is a better player or the guy I think fits the Canucks better.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with my original pick. Give me Braden Coots.
Ooh. All right. Braden Coots from the Seattle Thunderbirds. All right. So what's the rundown on this guy?
Braden Coots. Let me just go to my notes. I need to. I need to keep these up when we do these. I need to.
Just over a point per game in the WHL. Yeah, definitely going to be. He's a center. Going to be a exciting player for sure.
Yeah, over point per game. Braden Coots is he has the ability to be a number one center in the NHL.
You really think he could be a number one center? Really?
I think he could be a number one center.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if that's just me. I just really like him as a fit for Vancouver. He's from Sherwood Park, Alberta, which isn't near Vancouver, but it's Alberta's right there. It's around.
It's in the country, in the region.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I cannot find my notes for Coots.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. Like Vancouver, they just lost JT Miller. Elias Pettersson's not doing so hot. They kind of need a center, and no matter who they get there at 15, I think is better than the situation they have going on there right now. So, yeah, I don't hate that, honestly. All right, then unless if you want to look at your notes,
I got my details on him. Good skater. He has he's a very strong shot. Very strong shot. Shoots at high volume. He's a great shot creator. His shooting ability could be dangerous as a puck handler and a playmaker, but he's not consistent. That's his one knock.
So he's an inconsistent. That's something you can work on, though.
And he gets it. He's smart player, smart IQ. And his strongest thing is he's physical. He physical compete level is up there. So Vancouver needs guys like that. That sounds like, you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like JT Miller.
It does. So there you go. You can have another guy that Elias Pettersson can beef with there. So I'm obviously kidding. And then you get to the final picks of the lottery, essentially. You got 2 back-to-back Montreal selections. So Montreal's in a pretty good spot. It's not often you get back-to-back picks in a draft. I can't really remember the last time that's happened. I think it definitely
Islanders in 2018.
Yeah, the Islanders in 2018. So it doesn't happen very often. You have the opportunity here to possibly go with a forward and a defenseman. Honestly, there's a couple of options you could lean towards here. You could go 1 forward, 1 defenseman. I'm just going to go with best player available in terms of my rankings. Just give me, I feel, I don't know.
We have both these picks, so tell me what you're thinking here.
I'm kind of thinking, I feel like they should go 1 forward, 1 D.
Usually that's what you do when you have 2 back-to-back picks, but also if there's 2 great forwards available, Montreal needs defensemen because they can't defend right now.
Yes, that's why I think they should go with a guy from Boston University, Saka Boumediene. Forget it.
I know who you're talking about. I am not pronouncing that name.
I think it's Boumediene. So I did a watch with Nordic stream with Penn State and BU, and I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. So he's from Boston University. This guy is a good defensive defenseman. Doesn't score a ton offensively, and I think, honestly, just get a defensive-minded guy in there, and I think he'll be okay. Honestly.
Yeah, I know nothing about this guy. I'm just going to put that out right now.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. He's somebody that I know and I'm a decent fan of, and I'm kind of rooting for here a little bit. But yeah, I'll go with him. I like him. 6'2", a little bit taller, had 13 points in 40 games played. Is a very defensive-minded type of player. Seeing him how he's played on Boston University the last couple of years. So yeah, overall, I think I like him there as a prospect there for Montreal.
All right, I'm going to go with the best player available in my eyes. Montreal, also, this makes a lot of sense. Montreal fans really love it when they get a star Quebecer in there.
Yeah.
They love their Quebecers, so Justin Carbonneau.
That's who I thought you were going with.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Dude scored 43 goals in the queue this year. He's a sniper. He's a guy I think I could have taken for Detroit at 13. But Carbonneau just the dude just scores goals.
Yeah. So again, this year had 46 goals in 62 games played in the queue. So is a guy that can score goals for you, and I think that getting him on your right wing side could be very huge for Montreal. So I like that. I like that pick a lot. That being said, then you have Calgary. Pretty sure I'm spelling that name right of the Quebec team. Doesn't really matter.
Yes, you are.
Calgary could go a couple of the directions here. I feel like after seeing how they were this year, they kind of need a score. Would you say so?
I would say, though, I think I know who you're going with here, but we'll see it for real. I want to see who you're going to take here.
I'm looking at my guy here. I'm looking at somebody who had 40 goals in the WHL this past year, 82 points in 56 games played. He is from, it doesn't tell me his nationality. I'll find that in a second, but I think they should go with a guy like Carter Bear here.
Ooh, that's not who I was expecting you to take, but okay.
So Carter Bear from Everett, the Silver Tips, had a 40-goal season this past year, scored 82 points. He's a late bloomer from 06. He's 6 foot. He can play center and left wing. I feel like if Calgary, you need a born, just certified goal scorer, and I think that a guy like Bear can do that and maybe more for you.
I think Bear's also a local.
I'm pretty sure he is. He's
Carter Bear is from, doesn't tell me his nationality. He's Canadian. That's all it says. Oh, he's from Manitoba.
He is from Manitoba, so not terribly far away. But again, this is a guy who can score, and I think that Calgary kind of needs that in a way. Again, I'm going to be blunt with you. I'm at the point where I don't know a whole lot about these prospects, so I've only really studied up until around Malcolm Spence. But yeah, Bear for me, just seeing his overall numbers, I think he's somebody that Calgary really needs.
There's a guy I think should go here at 19. But sorry, okay. Going back to Bear. Bear is a very good, Bear is an offensive dynamo. I got to see him play not this year, but last year, and he was pretty noticeable. I'm going to get up the notes I have on him real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Scorer, great skater, wicked shot. He needs to work on his defense.
Okay, so just about every other goal scorer.
Every sniper ever.
I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, totally. I like that. I like that input for sure. But yeah, I think Bear's been one of my favorites following these prospects. So I like it. All right. That being said, number 19. Who you thinking?
St. Louis. Here's the thing. There's a guy I think should be taken by now. However, considering what has happened with Torrey Krug, I feel like St. Louis should prepare for the future without Torrey Krug. And I feel like you got to take a guy like Logan Hensler.
Ooh, okay. That was one of the guys I was thinking about. At 19th overall. He's from Wisconsin. He was actually on our draft that we did in December. He was 10th overall. Definitely not going 10th overall now. I think
he took a bit of a dip this past year, but he still had good numbers at Wisconsin.
Still wasn't bad. So I think again, for the Blues, you kind of have to go with an offensive type player or a defenseman type player there for sure. So
let me get my notes up. Two-way defenseman. He's very responsible on his own end, but he puts up the points.
He had
at Wisconsin. He didn't have a great points year, but he did put up the points at the U.S. development program.
Yes, and I think that does matter, even though the development program is a little bit, I don't know, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a good look for sure. And then, yeah, my last pick here in this mock draft.
Now, do you want to take the goalie this time?
LeBlanc, I'm actually really thinking about it. LeBlanc, just I know, I'm supposed to figure this out myself, but, let me ask you this. Could you see them taking Ravensburger at 24 or at 20?
I can. That's the thing. I can see them. Here's the thing. Tarasov has proven to me that he's not responsible.
Tarasov's not good. Merzligan's not good. Jet Greaves looked pretty good.
Greaves looks really good. That's the one thing that's making me not go Ravensburgen. I don't know. He's got
who are you thinking here besides him?
Lyndon
Lagovich. You think Yagovich? Actually, oh my God, he's still on the board? I forgot about him.
Lyndon Lagovich is still there, so...
Yeah, I'm going to go with Yagovich. I mean, again, I would not be shocked if they would go with a guy like Ravensbergen at 24. Like, I would not be shocked at all. But I think for a guy like Lagovic, who had over a point per game in Moose Jaw in the WHL, is a forward. I think he can play more than one position. I think it's something that is a little too good to refuse here for Columbus. So I don't know. Like, I could see him going with a goalie, but I'm not so sure. What do you think?
Lagovic is the best player available, and for me, if there's a guy on the board that you think wasn't going to be there when you were picking, you take that guy.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So you got to go with Lagovic there at 20th overall. And that being said, LeBlanc, with the final pick in this draft with your Ottawa Senators, who are you thinking?
Here's the thing. Now you have me in a predicament because the guy I would like to take, all the guys I want are there. Except for Carbonneau. All guys that I think were not going to be here or may have been up for a debate are here. Because Ottawa could go Ravensbergen. They could go Ravensbergen here. They could go Jack Nesbitt from Windsor. They could go with a guy like Cameron Reed or Benjamin Kindle. Kindle had a great year in the W. I'm going to go with... You think of Ottawa loves big, tall, physical guys.
Carter Yakubchuk, Exhibit A.
Yeah, we're going to go with Jack Nesbitt from Windsor.
You're going to go with Linda Nesbitt?
Jack Nesbitt.
Is that how you say it?
From Windsor. Dude's big. Dude's huge. Dude's 6'5" forward. Had a 64 points in 65 games for Windsor. Ottawa could go Ravensbergen here. I
really want to go with him right there.
I mean, here's the thing: Ottawa doesn't have a star goalie prospect. They have Marilainen, which is great, but the thing is also that Omar's not getting any younger.
Okay, that's valid. That is very valid. So you could go with a couple options there. Honestly, so,
Jack Nesbitt's been one of my favorites throughout the draft process. Do not tell Trevor.
Yeah, I won't tell Trevor. Don't worry. But yeah, that's the draft.
Yeah, no, his size is like forward putting up 25 goals, 39 assists in 65 games, and be point in the W in the O. Isn't really seen that much. He's 6'5".
Yeah, for sure. Not really that well known, honestly, there, but I like that. I like that pick. You need a big name guy. You guys love going with the big name hitter players, but I think overall it's a very good pick, LeBlanc. Good job. And that being said, that's the mock draft. How do you think we did?
I think we did decent. I think a couple guys fell, but here's the thing: the draft's unpredictable.
It's always unpredictable.
Like every mock you see, no one's ever right.
Yeah, you can go look up here. This is almost all wrong. Like, this is almost all completely wrong, except for 1, 2.
Wait, was this our no,
this was our
final mock, yeah.
Yeah, final mock from last year. Just we got almost everything wrong.
Well, look at the takes we have here. Like
our takes weren't bad, bro. But then they just ended up
at 3. That might be a really good take now.
Yes, we had some ones that aged very well, so